Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we've got a fun one for you today. This is something we've just done for a customer. They wanted a little custom order form with a few little drop down options, but they wanted it inline on their desktop. So we created this. Really easy to do, got to do a little bit of coding, but as usual, I'll provide all the code for you. So let's get started. I'm going to enable the Visual Builder. Once loaded, let's go down to where we want to work. And I've got a row here, the green tab. Inside I've got my form and it's all sitting inside a little section here. So let's get rid of this row and we'll start from scratch. Okay, I'm going to hit the little green button to add a new row. I'm going to use a single column. Now we've added a row, I'm actually going to put a background in just so you can see what's going on. So I've gone into the green tab for the row. Background's always under the content tab. There it is. I'm going to just put a black background in so you can see the actual row there. Great. Inside the row, I'm going to put a contact form, funnily enough. And there it is. It pops it in with a little button, a few default fields there. Now, I don't want a name field. All I want is an email and a few options for them. So let's add a new field. I'm going to have 3 sets of options for mine. Perhaps model, size and color. So let's put the first one as model. And the same there with the actual title. There you can see it right there. Down in the field options, I want mine to be a little drop down so they can select different options. Select drop down, it says there. Option 1, well, I'm going to call that option 1. Obviously you put whatever works for you. Now I'm going to clone this. In fact, I'm going to do it a couple times. And I'm going to put option 2 and option 3. And obviously keep adding as many as you need there. I'm going to leave it on required field because I want them to definitely fill this out before it's sent. Great. Well, I'm going to save that field. I'm going to clone it a couple of times or duplicate it with the 2 little squares there. 1, 2. I'm not going to have the big message box up there. I don't think I need it. So I'm going to delete that. Now, I want my email address to be full width. So I'm going to go in there. I'm going to go over to design, layout, make full width. But these other fields I don't want to be full width. So if I save that, check out these fields and the layout, I want to turn that off in my other fields here. So what I'm going to do, the easiest thing, because they're all the same now, or were all the same, I'm going to reclone those now that I've changed that there. And we've got to go into our next one. And this is going to be size. As you can see, it's right there. It's occupying half of the screen there. And the next one, let's just change the name on this one to back to just model. And the last one is going to be perhaps color. And again, you put in whatever it is you need for yours. Great, so we've got the fields that we want there, the full width email, and 3 other little drop downs here, but I want them to be in line, 1, 2, 3, and then have the submit button. I don't think I want a capture in there. For the title of the form, let's put in create your custom order, or whatever it is that works for you. And you can see it right there. I've got a capital R there, it doesn't matter because I'm going to adjust that. Let's move this over here. Easiest way is to go over to design, down to the title text there. I want to make mine white in color. I don't want it to be an H1. I'm going to make mine an H2. I'm going to capitalize it and I'm going to pop it in the middle. Fantastic. We go back there now. That's our text taken care of. Email, that's the important one, where you want your little message sent to. So it's you at your email address. You can decide a pattern if you want by using double percentage signs. We've covered message patterns before. Don't want it to redirect. As I said earlier, I don't think I want that spam protection on. That's up to you. That may affect the inline of it in a little bit, but I'm sure it can work around. Now, when I took that off, that button actually jumped up a little bit. So we'll adjust that with our fields in the CSS in a little while. Great. Well, I'm not going to put a background in the form, but I will put a background eventually in the row. And I want a little bit of padding. I don't want it right up against the sides like it is at the moment. So let's save our changes here. We'll go back into the row, the green tab. And I'm going to give it a little bit of padding. Over to design and spacing. Here's padding, left and right. I'm going to give it, say, let's try 3%, 3 and the percent sign. We'll leave it like that. That looks fine to me. Hit the little chain, it'll do the opposite side. So we've now got a bit of padding either side there. Great. Well, let's make these little drop downs inline now. And I'm using a bit of code that was originally from Elegant Themes inline form, but I've had to modify it a little bit. So let's save our row settings here. I'm going to go back in to the form itself. I'm going to go into our little fields now. I'm going to start off with the model. Once in there, I'm going to go to Advanced and Custom CSS in the main element. I'm going to write the CSS now, but I will put it down below for anybody that just wants to copy and paste it. I'm going to say max dash width. I'm giving mine 25%. You can give yours what you want that works for you, depending on how big your sentences are, I suppose, inside, but that's entirely up to you. So I'm going to give it a max width of 25% on mine. We'll put a semicolon on there. Now, when that button jumped, it actually jumped just a tiny little bit, and it's 1.5%. So I'm going to say margin dash top, and I'm going to give it negative 1.5%, negative 0.5, and the percent sign again. And you may have noticed that is now 25% of the width of the contact form, and it just jumped up by 1.5%. And when we put the button in line, that should make them all in line. That's the reason we're doing that. 1.5%. Great. Well, I'm going to copy that. Control C. And we'll save. We'll go back into the next one, which is size. I'm going to paste it in there. Over to Advanced, Custom CSS, main element. Just so you can see what's going on. Let's move this over. We're working with size now. Great, that's now 25%, in line with the other one. Now the next one, I'm going to put that in there, but we need a bit more code to make it float over the right hand side as well. So I'm going to go into the color there. Again, over to the Advanced Custom CSS. Main element, I'm going to paste that in there. It's gone the right size, but I want it in line with these other guys over here. So I'm going to tell it to float left, which should force it. I'm going to say float left. Nothing's happened, so I want to make sure there's no clear fix on there. I may need to force that, so I'll say clear, colon, none. It's not done it, so let's put the important in there to force it. Important is exclamation and the word important. That's done it, it's popped it up there. I don't like to use that important unless I have to. Sometimes you have to. So those are all nicely in line now, and if I move this out of the way, it's also popped that button up in line as well. Now that button looks a little bit skinnier than these fields. I think we can fix that by just adding a little bit of border on it. So let's save the changes now, go back into the form. We'll go into design, and you can actually style the button how you wish here. Use custom styles for the button. Text size is fine. I'm going to actually change that to get a free quote. Text color is, yeah, like I say, fine. Button background, I'm going to leave it on that default purple. That's what I've got mine set up with. But I do want to add a bit of a border. So button border width, let's try 1 pixel. I think that's it. And if we make it the same color, or however you want to style yours, that's great. Let's now just change what it says in the button. So that's down in the text field under content. Submit button. Let's say get a quote. Or just get quote will do, I guess. Great. That's a fairly happy looking little form there. I did a bit of decoration to mine just to make it stand out, and all I did was I went into the row. I added an image to this background as well. Background, as I said earlier, is always under content. I'm going to go over to image, I'm going to add a background image. I think I had the trees in there. Now we've lost a bit of that there because it's quite a busy picture. So I'm actually going to blend it with that black color that we've got going in the background there already. I don't know if you remember, we put a black color in under just the color there, and you can merge that with the image by going to the image, rolling down, background image blend. I'm going to multiply. Now it looks all black now, but if we go back to the color, make sure you go back to the color. Don't try and do this on the image. Click on the black field, you'll find this variegated slider. Pull it down to where you can see enough of the image behind, but still see the form and read everything nicely. And I just made it stand out from the background a little bit more by giving it a border. Went over to design, went to border. Border width, I just made it 1 pixel. I made it white. And just to offset it with the lightning and stuff, I used a bit of drop shadow to make it glow a little bit in the background. So if I roll on down there, we've got box shadow here. I use this particular one. Defines it a little bit more with the black there, but if we roll down and change that to white, almost looks like a little glow in the background. So that's what I did with that. Great, well if we've done everything successfully now, this should work. There's one other thing that we haven't taken into account here. I want this to be responsive. If I was to squeeze down now perhaps to tablet, they may well just fall on top of each other and it may look really ugly. So we're on desktop now. Let's go down to tablet. I mean, that's okay. I'd rather that button was up on top. If we go to mobile, no, that's just a mess really. So what I kind of like to happen is on tablet and mobile, I like all of those fields to be 100%, just like our email. So let's just add finally a little bit of code to make that happen. And to do that, go down to the bottom of your page, make sure your purple button's expanded, hit the little cog to get into the page, go over to the Advanced tab for the Custom CSS. We can go in there. And I'm going to use the code that I got from Elegant Themes earlier to make it responsive. And like I say, I'll put all this code, the modified, down below. I modified mine to 850, I think theirs was 760 or something, and it didn't quite work for me. But once that's in there, let's save the changes. Let's now take a look at that on the old iPhone. And we can see our fields have collapsed down full width, which is just what we wanted there. And if we pull it up, once it gets to 850, it's going to go back into our regular form like this, which is just exactly what we wanted. Let's pull that back to desktop. Save draft or publish if you're ready, and exit the visual builder. And there you have it. There's a great little create a custom order form with little drop downs to create your order, send it off, and we're all good to go. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.